A friend texts you the plan for Saturday, and without even thinking about it, your thumb taps back two words, Roger that. Or your boss asks if you got the email, Roger. Or it slips out on the phone after someone gives you directions and you don't even notice you said it. And nobody pauses, nobody asks what it means. It just works. But have you ever wondered why Roger? Who is Roger, and why out of every word in the English language did we collectively decide that this is how we say, yes, I heard you? If you've ever wondered how a piece of military jargon ended up in your text messages, you're about to uncover a little piece of history hiding inside everyday speech. And the answer isn't just older than you think, it's smaller. There's actually only one letter doing all the work. To find it, we have to leave your phone, leave the office, and end up in a radio room in 1943. Picture it. A young operator is hunched over a heavy desk microphone, headphones clamped over both ears. A voice comes through the speaker, but it's not really a voice. It's a voice wrapped in static, half-eaten by interference. He's trying to copy a flight number or a position or an order, and every other syllable is being swallowed by noise. This was the problem. Through a wartime radio, B and D sound identical. M and N collapse into each other. A single misheard character could send a plane to the wrong coordinates. So Allied forces invented a spelling alphabet, each letter getting its own distinctive word, so even if half the syllables got lost, you could still tell what was said. The phonetic alphabet wasn't built to sound clear, it was built to be unkillable by static. In 1941, the U.S. military adopted what was called the Joint Army-Navy Phonetic Alphabet. Operators just called it Able Baker after the first two words on the list. A was Able, B was Baker, P was Peter, and the word they picked for the letter R was Roger, which is the entire origin story. Roger is not a name. Roger is not a code. Roger is not somebody's grandfather who flew bombers. Roger is just how you say the letter R out loud so it doesn't get lost in radio fuzz. And here's where it gets even smaller. R by itself was already a piece of signal shorthand long before radio existed. Going back to Morse code, that's the dot and dash system telegraph operators used to send messages over long wires. A single topped R meant one thing: received. When a message came through and you wanted to confirm it had landed, you sent back R. So when a pilot in 1943 said Roger into a microphone, he was saying R, and R meant received. The whole phrase is two letters of acknowledgement wearing a costume. The smallest words in our language tend to carry the longest histories because they were built to survive bad signal. From there, it evolved fast. Roger by itself meant, I got your message. Soon, operators started stacking it. Roger, Wilco. Wilco being short for will comply. When a specific instruction came through, a pilot would say, Roger that. The that pointed at the order. It made the acknowledgement specific. And it spread across services, across Allied forces, across every theater of the war. Now, you may have heard a different story. A lot of people picked up the idea that Roger was a real person, some famous airman or commanding officer whose name became the word. It's a charming story. It's also not true. There's no Roger. There never was. The truth is more mundane and more interesting. A generation of soldiers said the same single letter into the same staticky microphones so many millions of times that the letter itself became a word. Then the war ended. The soldiers came home and something funny happened next. Hollywood discovered the radio room. Through the late 1940s and 50s, war films poured out of American studios, then aviation films, then police procedurals, then NASA, broadcasting Apollo transmissions into living rooms across the country. And what did every astronaut say when Houston gave him a number? Roger. But here's the part almost nobody knows. In 1956, NATO standardized a new phonetic alphabet, the one we still use today: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie. The letter R wasn't Roger anymore. R became Romeo. Officially, Roger was retired almost 70 years ago. We're all walking around using a code word the military stopped using before most of our parents were born. By the time the Pentagon changed the chart, 20 years of war films had already taught the public the old word. A bureaucracy can revise a manual. It cannot untrain a country that grew up at the movies. So Roger leaked out of cockpits and into offices, out of mission control and into text messages. By the time it landed in your group chat, the radio was gone, the war was gone, the alphabet had been replaced, and the word was still here doing the same single job. I heard you. Which raises the obvious question. If the military switched in 1956, why didn't we? Culture moves slower than charts. Hollywood had already taught a generation. That generation taught their kids, and the kids didn't know there was ever a memo. And here's the part most people want to know. Is Roger that actually different from just Roger? Technically, yes. Roger alone meant message received. The that was added to acknowledge a specific instruction. In civilian use, the difference has dissolved. The phrase just got a little more emphatic as it left the radio. Roger is, in the end, a linguistic fossil, a fully preserved piece of a radio room world, hardened into a word you carry around without ever noticing what it is. The next time you type Roger that into a text, to a friend, to your boss, to your group chat, you're not just saying yes, you're saying the letter R. You're saying received. You're using a piece of 1940s wartime radio protocol on a device that doesn't even have a microphone open. Thank you for watching. If you have ideas for our next video, drop them in the comments below and we'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement. Thanks for joining us for another piece of heirloom history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more of the everyday things you've been doing your whole life without knowing why.